This conference will now be recorded.
So we discussed about special strings and how to do the slicing in for strings and everything. Now today we'll try to see string special characters. So in a string special characters, we are going to discuss about few things which we already repeated. You can say repetitive class. So the first one is, for an example, I have x variable like this: x equal to Amarnath, y equal to Paratala. Now if I want to print together like a concatenate, in for a combining two different strings, I can able to use plus sign. So print x come out x plus 1. If I do this one, the thing is going to be concurrent function. X will behave like a concurrent function. You can see here I can able to see concurrent function. The problem here is which is the there is no separator between first variable to second variable, nothing but first content to second content. So to get some space between Amarnath and Paritala, I have another option to write print x plus, I want some space, so I'm just giving one space as a string plus y. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? There was no space between Amarnath and Paritala, so to generate some space, I'm going to maintain space as a string and I'm executing. Now you can see there is some space. Are you clear? Any questions on this? It's not meaning that I need to assign a variable content to the variable, then only I can able to print it. I can do something like this: print x plus some space plus y plus some space plus Venkat. Now what I'm doing here is Amar is the content which I assign to x value, x variable. Paritala is the another content which I assign to y variable, and these two I'm trying to display. Along with that, I'm also trying to display Venkat. So I think you need to mute yourself. We are getting echo. So we are trying to display Venkat. Paritala and Amar both are the contents which are dynamic based on the input from the your CSV file or backend data source. The value will be changed, but Venkat is the one which is static. It will not be changed when your data source is changed because it's a static which is assigned as a subsequent value to your print. So now you can see here. Okay, it's a string, so you have to maintain quotations, either single, double, or triple quotation. You can see here, Venkat is not defined, and it's clearly showing which line we have an issue. Line number 5. So I'm going back and just mention the quotations. Now you can see this has been addressed in the same fashion. So assume that when you connect your Python with the backend system, maybe CSV or data source, maybe SQL or somewhere, this name will be changed to some other name, maybe Narendra. When you execute, since it's a stack dynamic, the name will be changed, but Venkat will not be changed. Venkat is static. It says that if you want to be display some string value by using a print function, it's not meaning that we need to assign to some variable and display. We also can directly give some static strings. So this is the way also you can do that. And Amar, I don't want to display entire Amarnath. Entire Amarnath I don't want to display. Just display Paritala Amar. AMAR. That is good enough. So we can do slicing activity again. Print y I want to be displayed as first number plus some space plus I want to display in x 0 to which position? What is the index I can use? Any guess? Any guess? Amarnath is the full name. In this first 4 letters I want to be displayed. Yamini Argiri. Did we discuss about indexing?
3.
So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if I display up to 3, as per Python programming, the index will start from 0 and ends with, if you mention 3, it will be n minus 1. That means up to 2 it will be displayed. But I want to display up to r. So I have to mention 4. Nothing but if I mention 4, 0 to 4, from the 0 and the ending position is 4, that means n minus 1. Up to third position it will be displayed. 4. Close the parenthesis. Run again. You can see Paritala Amar. It's not meaning that when you're starting from the some position, is it a man? For example, I'm starting from one position, then is it mandatory I need to give index as 0? Means not required. Just take it as colon and 4. System will take default 0 only, since it's going to be starting position. Empty position will be starting position. Let me close this again and execute. You can see starting position is going to be A, so system automatically taken the empty position as 0. Similarly, same concept apply for your ending position also. For example, I want to display from 0, 1, 2, 3. From the fourth position till ending, I want to be displayed. So fourth position till ending. Ending means any number it can be, any index number. So if I give blank, that means it's going to be execute up to ending position. So close. You can see here NADH. Either you can give the starting number or ending number, and if you are working till the last or start till from the starting, you can make it as a blank also. You have that provision in Python programming. Any questions on this? Or is it clear?
Clear.
Now, there is one function is available in Python. If you are searching a substring or a letter in the string, in the main string, and you want to return as a true or a false for some filtering purpose, then you can use in and not in. For an example, print A in X variable. A is a letter, so A in X variable. The system is going to be check the letter called small a in a variable called X. X has the content called Amarnath. If the small a is existing, it will return as a true. If the small a is not existing, it will return as a false. You can see true. For an example, I'm just taking B, small b. Small b is not available in Amarnath, so system will return as false. Why I require this kind of functionality in a sense? When you are extracting a data and you want to filter based on certain parameters, certain substrings, maybe pick up only the location which contain Bangalore, BLR, or pick up the location where you have NJ, New Jersey. So, and your entire string may have country name, city name, town name, and so on. So pick up based on the trues and false, and filter the data and store it into new variable. For an example, I have the x equal to India, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Mumbai. So this is my address. This is the code. Now this code is applicable for set of the shipments which I'm sending from one location to other location. Similarly, in India, I have Karnataka, Bangalore. I have Telangana, Hyderabad, and I have Andhra, Vizag. So like this, I have different codes. Now I need to filter it. Is it possible for me to filter in the sense? Yes, I can filter it by using print Mumbai in X content, X variable. If it's available, what happened? Okay, it's capital X, small x. So as I told you, Python is a case sensitive. You have to display correctly. I'm removing this. Now Mumbai, if Mumbai is available, it will return as true. If Mumbai is not available, it returns false. For each and every row in your CSV or data source. So true is there. And based on this true or false, you can apply if condition and filter the data according to yours. Are you getting my point? Any questions? Yamini and Giri?
No, Amar.
Now, similarly, Mumbai not in and not in. Not in is exactly opposite to in. That is nothing but if this particular string is not available, letter or a string is not available in a main string called variable called x, system will return as opposite
False.
Boolean operator. Like Mumbai is not in x means false because that is available, so it's showing us false. You can see false. How many are you getting or not?
Yes, Amar.
Okay, great. So the same thing are given here, and the assignments are already uploaded. Complex data types. Till now, I did not get an opportunity to work with complex data type in my past experience, last 4 to 5 years in Python experience. But when you are coming to what I understand from my friends who work with complex data types, when you got an opportunity to work with mathematical related operations, then you may require, hardly you may require complex data type. Then what is the reason we need to learn means, this is also one of the fundamental data type in Python. It's good to know the subject. So I'm explaining here. Complex data type has two different parts. The first part is a real number, real part. The data type is going to be a float. The second part is nothing but imaginary part. That is also nothing but a float only. Again, the value what you have in imaginary part is also a float. Now assume that you have x equal to 3 plus 4j, some imaginary complex number I just created. So the complex number you can create in two ways. Directly you can use a equal sign, or you can use a function called complex. Right now what you're seeing x equal to 3 plus 4j is nothing but a complex number. If you see the print text, system displayed as the number, the content whatever you have. And if you see the type of x, it's displayed as complex, similar like integer, float, and string. And if you see ID of x, the address has been stored. Till now we are okay with this. Now your company says that in a complex, we want only the real number for my requirement purpose or programming purpose. Then you need to use a function called dot real. So print variable name dot real. So this real function will pick up only the real number, nothing but 3, and display. Since the data type is a float, it displays 3.0. And I want only the imaginary part. I want to separate and display only the imaginary part. So x dot imag imaginarily. So again the 4 is also a float data type. So you can see 4.0. Clear? Amar, is it a mandatory I need to give equal sign to create a complex value manually to a variable? Means no. You have an option to create by using a function. So the function name is called complex, in bracket the real value comma imaginary value. So right now I given 3 comma minus 5. When you print it, you can see 3 minus 5j. Since you use the function, system treat first input is going to be your real, the first position number, and second position number it will treat as an imaginary number. You can see 3 minus 5j. For an example, you given a function called complex and you entered only one value like a 3, what you are seeing right now. Then system will treats that the imaginary value is a 0 and displays 3 plus 0 j. Sometimes when you're getting a data source, those in the data source, the complex data types can behave like a string. It cannot be by default. It cannot be behave like an integer or a float, but there might be a chance it can behave like a string when you're getting from CSV files. So those scenario, if you want to be convert your string as a complex data type, just use a function called complex and the source of the data. So right now I just entered one string value in double quotation or single quotation or triple quotation 3 minus 4j. System will convert the string as a complex data type and display it here. Any questions? Or good to go?
Yeah, good to go, Amar.
Right. Now, when I have something like this, Amarnath, y equal to Paretala, I just mentioned if I want to combine together concurrent function x plus y. This is the thing what I explained you in the previous slide. Amarnath Paretala is displayed. But what if I have something like this? A equal to 5, b equal to 10. If I use a print function, both are integer numbers, a plus b. System automatically apply an aggregate function called a plus b and display as 15. It is not going to give the outcome like 5, 10. It will display as 15. Are you getting the difference? When it's a string, it's behave like a concatenate function. If it's an integer or a float number, it is doing the sum activity. This scenario, I want to display 5 tens together. I don't want to apply any aggregate function. So my outcome, what I'm expecting is 5, 10. But right now, because of aggregate function, system showing us 15. So how to display in the sense print x a comma b. Now you can see 5 comma 10 you are displaying. But one thing you can observe, there is a space between 5 and 10. Are you getting?
Yes, Amma.
So in reality, do you think that the space will be there? That much space? Or you are expecting separated by comma? When you're coming to the numbers 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, you are mentioning without any spaces. So generally, if I want that something like that, print a comma b. Now you can see 5 space, there is some space, comma, space 10. Do you think that in reality you will get this much space? You will not,
No.
right? We want 5 comma 10 without spaces generally. So what we can do is Instead of using this kind of syntax, we go with different syntax. Print a comma b separated by what? You want to give some space or a comma or a special character between two different variables. I want to give some space. So space I just mentioned. Now execute. Now you can see that some space is there. What is the difference between this one and this one in the sense? Here I can give the special character what I want. For an example, I want comma. You can see 5 comma 10. You can see the difference between the third one and fourth one.
Yes.
There was a space between 5 and 10. It's a lengthy space, and for look and feel also it's not good. But when you come to reality, we expected 5 comma 10 with some special character differentiation or some space, or maybe a tab. Or your company says that I want to give a special character something like this hash between one value to other value. You should be in a position to give. Or you are getting some special character maybe like at the rate. So separator will help me to give a output between one variable to other variable with some differentiation with some special character, separated with some special character. It can be anything. Is it clear, Yamini and Giri?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now we have one more concept here. Print x, print y. What is happening here in the sense? When I print x and print y, system is displaying two different prints in two different lines. Amarnath in one line, Paritala in another line. But my company says that I want these two prints to be in single line. Give a space between first variable to second variable. Those scenario, I can use AND operator next to the first print and equal to some space. If I use AND operator next to the first print, the system is going to be print first and second print in the same line with the special information whatever you decided, and I give a space or a comma, hashtag, whatever it may be, special character. So if you want to be combine multiple prints on display in one line, do this activity. So Z equal to Venkata. Now print Z. Now I want to combine X, Y, and Z3 together. So my first line and second line, X and Y is going to be combined together because of AND operator. But Y and Z has to be combined together when I give AND equal to some space or special character here for the Y. So how many prints you want to be combined together? For each print n-1, you need to be give an AND operator. No run. You can see here the outcome is Amarnath Paritala Venkata. However you want, it will be displayed. Any questions? Is it clear? So now I want to give an information to store about the bank details, and I want to be display those things. For example, customer account details. I want to feed it by user, and it has to be displayed as for a confirmation. Now customer name. It is an input field. So input of enter customer name. Customer account number equal to input of customer account number. Now one catch here is account number always will be a numerical data, may not be a alphanumerical data. So I want to give my first restriction here as an integer. So on top of this input customer account details, I just given convert into integer. If the user entered non-integer number, system automatically give an error. Are you getting my point? Customer balance. It should be behave input customer account balance. Something like this. But now account should be a number and it should be a float because we have a decimal point. So I want to display as float. And finally, customer address. It should be an string. So when you use the input function, by default system treat as an integer or string only. So whatever you entered, that behave like a string only. You can see address. Now print cname, comma, type of cname. I want to show you when you entered any user input, it will, though you enter one, system treat as a string only. It will not take as integer. When you assign directly by using equality sign, system will treat separately. Let me show you both. Print of customer account, type of customer account, print of customer balance, comma, type of customer balance, print of customer address, type of customer address. Now I'm just adding one more thing, x equal to 10. Sorry, x equal to 10. Now print x comma type of x. Now what I want to show you is when you enter the 10 in a customer name, since I'm not given the data type specific as integer, system will behave this 10 as a string and store it into customer name. When you see the type, system will show as string, but the same 10 when I enter assign to the x variable as a dynamic, not by user input, system behave like an integer. Let me see both. Enter the customer name. I'm just entered 10. Input. Something went wrong. Float. Anything wrong here? Or line number 3, customer account integer input customer account number. Correct only. Name input. Okay, you can see spelling mistake. Spelling mistake is there. So system is not allowing.
And one more, type CDD instead of CADD.
Yeah, thank you. Now I'm just entering 10 for customer name and account number. I just given instruction as an integer, but purposefully I'm entering as Amar. System will show error saying that valuation error. You can see value error, invalid literature for integer. Amar is not going to be worked out because it's an integer. So I'm just going back and re-executing the code. So 10 number I'm giving as 1 2 3 4, balance I'm giving as 1 2 3 4. So account number, this is going to be account balance. Okay, account number behave like integer 1 2 3 4. Account balance will behave like a 1 2 3 4 dot 0 because I just given as a float. address Mumbai. Now when you see the 10 behave like a string. So whatever you entered in user input by using an input function, by default system will take as a string. It will not take it as an integer. But the last one, what you're seeing here, x equal to 10, system is going to be assign dynamic data type, and it will display as an integer. You can see integer. Is it clear? Any questions from anyone? Damini or Giri? Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll drop for the day, and day 7 will start tomorrow. Okay.
Where can I find the assignments, Ramar?